All right, Cycleshack live. Hopefully this is working. Hopefully this is going good. I'm trying to see if I can see myself, obviously. All right, looks like it's working, man. All right, we got a little feed on the studio. So it's all right, man. If you're tuning in after the fact, it's all good. I'm just trying this out live. We did a few tests. It came out okay. So long story short, man, we're hopefully going to make this a regular thing. But for today, we're only going to do a few minutes pretty much to tell you what the show is going to be about. And then I'll end the Facebook Live section of the show, which will only be 5-10 minutes. And I'll jump on the podcast, and you'll have to tune into iTunes or oh man, I even forgot my platforms. You can check it out on iTunes or anchor.fm and listen to the rest of the podcast. But for the most part, let's see if a few people tune in here. All right, man, it looks like it's going good. I'm happy. I'm happy with the way it's going. All right, we got volume down here. Okay, so just doing a little check on myself there. So basically, on this upcoming episode of the Cycleshack, man, I'm going to be talking about a couple of things. Basically, about a ride that I took. It was kind of an impromptu last-minute ride with a couple of friends, and we got out and did a ride for hosted by Hudson Valley Harley Davidson. Special thanks to them for Habitat for Humanity. It was a great cause. And thanks to Hudson Valley Harley Davidson for hosting that. We had a great time. I'm surprised it wasn't as big of a turnout as it should have been, but the weather was sunny, but it was very windy. It was pretty cool. I had all the leather and the gear on, so we tried making that work out, and it worked out fairly well. Sorry for the lights in here, man. Usually it's too dim. Now it's too bright, so my face has a lot of light glare. I'm still finishing up in the studio here. As you can see, I got soundproof, and I'm still trying to set up. So we tried to just get a view where you can see what's happening here. But definitely, if you've checked out the blog, I put out 2 bios. One of Edgar Davila. Thanks, Ed, Big Ed, for letting me put pictures of the bike up and hosting, or actually hosting, putting pictures of the bike and giving you a quick mention on the blog page about, the bike, etc. And also Mark Lights, Tin Man. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Both very good friends of mine, brothers indeed, man. Brothers of the road and brothers beyond that. You know what I mean? We don't have to share a passion for bikes in order to be brothers, man. They've already earned that from me, and I'm sure I've earned that for them. But 2 great guys, and I'm glad to feature their bikes on the Cycleshack bio, on the Cycleshack blog page with the bike bio section. So just to throw a quick thing with the bios, I got some free time today, so I stood since earlier today writing up some stuff and getting some bios out, and I got the 2 bios out, and now I said, you know what? I still got time, man. It was early at the time. It was 8 o'clock. I said, man, let me go into the studio and just fool around a little bit, mess around with this Facebook Live and see if I can get it going. Like I said, hopefully I hope to do the Facebook Live thing more often when I have, maybe if I can get guests and I could do like a remote feed, it would work out well. So definitely, prospering little by little. I'm taking baby steps. As you can see, I do my own thing here. I got wires all over the place. I'm trying to clean this up, make it look a little more presentable, make it look better, get a little bit better background set up, and make it look a little bit more detailed for you guys so I can put out a good product. And sound-wise, I think it's going good. I tested this sound out, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, and everything was fine. So it appears to be going good from what I see here. I'm on my phone feed, and I can see myself just fine. I got volumes down, so you're not hearing any feedback. At least I don't think I am. At least I don't hear it on my equipment. So anyway, it's really, really difficult to put it out, man. It's hard. I'm my own sound engineer. I'm my own video engineer. I'm doing my own board operations, and not much of a board that I have, but as small as this is, for someone who doesn't know what they're really doing, it could be complicated. So I'm also recording the show because, as you can see, I'm staring at a monitor. I have a computer here set up that I can record this and host this and do what I got to do. But the problem is that if this thing crashes, now the show's gone and I don't have it. So the best way to do it is get yourself a digital recorder to back up the show, because my show is basically an audio platform. It's not mostly video. And by video, I used to do it on YouTube, but that took a lot of time editing. I had my son, who has his own little studio set up, doing a lot of the editing for me. And, he was taken away from his thing and what he was doing. So I don't want to put out the YouTube product. I don't want to go back there. I'd rather do the Facebook Live. I think I can get more people involved. I think I can get a little more interaction on Facebook Live. So that's what I think I'm going to stick to. So, yeah, as far as audio, I mean, hey, this is a face only a mother can love. You can only see, but, any more than 10 minutes of me, I don't think you could take. So, thanks for tuning in either way. I appreciate it. So aside from the blogs, and I just want to give a quick mention, Americade is coming up soon. Americade is coming up the week of June 4th. So I'm going to be there the 8th and the 9th at Americade in Lake George, New York. I'm going to be taking my camera. I'm not going to be doing much audio. The audio you're going to hear is just camera snippets and stuff like that. And I'm going to be doing mostly pictures, maybe video, etc. And I'll post it up on the Facebook page at the Cycleshack Podcast on Facebook right here. And do more bike bios and maybe get some interviews with people and maybe get some talk to some people, do some networking, and maybe get some guests on the show later on down the road. I'm hoping to bump into them guys, the Motorcycle Men, man. If you haven't listened to them, Motorcycle Men Podcast, I'm hoping to bump into those guys so I can maybe set something up, but who knows? We'll see. So Americade, that's the next biggest event coming on up here, and I'll be there I think the 7th and the 8th, I think it is. That Friday into Saturday of Americade, I will be there. Whatever the dates are, I'm sorry if I'm getting them wrong. It's hard to remember everything, but I should have actually wrote it down. See, I can't do everything. But the next thing I'm going to be discussing on the show is, the main topic is going to be a quick discussion of, ride duties of an event organizer, whether you're in a motorcycle club or in an RC and you're doing road captain duties, which would be planning the route, the safest route for you and your motorcade of bikes to get around. Is there any construction going on? Any unforeseen construction, any unforeseen issues with highway traffic, safety? Is there enough rest stops? Is there enough places you can stop and get food, fuel? That's all things you got to take into consideration when you're planning a ride. The longer the ride, the more difficult. Thankfully, nowadays, you've got Google Maps. Although Google Maps doesn't show you road conditions in real time, it just shows you the route there and maybe gives you a quick satellite image. But that satellite image can be 2-3 years old. It's not live real time. So, you could do all this stuff with today's technology. You got GPS now on most of these bikes, and the GPS, man, if it's a good one, it'll tell you to reroute because of construction, et cetera, and all that. So, I'll be discussing all that and discussing things that I do and procedures for safety, et cetera. And it doesn't necessarily have to be road captain. It could be a bunch of friends and, your friends, of 8 to 10 riders that you hang out with that are steady. Just rely on you being that guy to plan the route for them because you're good at it. I personally think, as tough of a time that I have doing it, I think I do a decent job. I've been told I do a decent job, so I'm continuing to do so. And now I'm progressing in it little by little. So, baby steps, slowly but surely. But we'll be discussing the duties per se, or the role of a ride organizer, or if you're in an RC, which is a riding club, or an MC motorcycle club, etc., or a motorcycle association, there's designated road captains or designated ride planners. And those are the guys who basically get you to and from safely, and you basically got to listen to him on the road at all times. And there's usually several road captains, some of them to block off traffic, some of them to get you through lights, stop signs, etc. And it's all geared around safety, getting there to and from safely. And he's the navigator. You know, the lead road captain is the navigator. You follow him. He gives you hand signals. You do what he does, and everybody gets there safely, you know, organized, etc. So that's all I got. And I got 2 little mentions of Harley Davidson shooting out an intern program. Check this out. They're taking 4 college students and doing an intern where they put them on bikes. Now, it's not just riding across country, because they make them ride across country. They make them, from what I understand, and I'll read the article on the Cycleshack podcast when I'm on later on. They not only they get 4 bikes, they ride across country, but they get the feel of the networking portion, the marketing side of things. They help plan the Harley Davidson events, and they're riding to those events. From what I understand, that's what I think it's going to be. So it's going to be a difficult task. It ain't going to be just a dream job where a lot of people think, hey, they're going to give them Harleys to ride across country. No problem. Sign me up. Well, no, they're going to learn the full aspect of the business. The perk of it is that they're riding across country on a Harley. They get to keep that Harley at the end of the internship, which that's cool. So we'll be talking about that. And I'm also going to be following it, seeing how it goes. So tune in for that. And also with Harley's decline in sales, apparently they're still doing this ride internship program. They're doing a ride program to get more riders out there. They're doing their own motorcycle safety course where they're trying to intrigue people to come on, you know, get more riders in, get those millennials, quote unquote, to get involved. And also with all that, they're reviving the Sportster line, and added to the revivals is the Harley Davidson Street. You know, I'll do more research on that. I actually have an article on it, but apparently the Sportster line is going to be, it's going to have a couple of new Sportster lines where they're going to revive it, different names. It's going to be Sportster, but it's going to be, instead of the 48 or the Iron, they're going to have a revival of a couple of the Sportster lines. Not the 2 that just came out for 2018. We're talking aside from that. Okay. We're going to see also, from what I read, the Street. The Street has been the same bike since 2015. Since it came out, there really hasn't been any real changes to the Street. That was Harley Davidson's bike that they used to attract the millennials per se, but it is what it is. Have they been doing well with it? I guess so. I've seen a few of them out there. Dealerships that I've seen have only had 1 or 2 of them, and they sell them. The Street rod's not doing too bad, although I don't see them on the street all the time. So I know they're using them on the motorcycle courses to teach people how to ride. And I guess people are buying them for their first bikes, but then trading them in after a year or so, after a season or so. So I heard there's going to be a big revamping of the Sportster line, and now added to that revamping would be the Harley Davidson Street. And this was last minute news that I actually got like maybe 15 minutes ago. I know it's not motorcycle related, but I'm a gearhead also. I'm into cars, and I twist wrenches on cars as well. My own personal vehicles, you know, do my own brakes, do my own rotors, tune-ups, etc., change my own oil. So I'm into the car market also. And I read that they are releasing later this year, Chevrolet, a 2018 Chevy Chevelle. And it looked pretty good. What it looked like was they tried to do something like and I'm not saying they're copycatting, but it looked like they tried to do something like the Dodge Challenger, where they gave it that modern retro look. Well, they went a step further and kept the Chevelle body, so to speak, a little. And you know, I saw 2 pictures, you know what I mean? So I didn't really do enough research on it. You know, I'll research it and bring back some news on it. But I saw 2 photos. One photo showed the outside to be looked like the old Chevelle, except it had the corners more smoothed out and rounded. And then another one I saw looked like just basically sort of like just a 2-door coupe, modern day version, something that looks something like the Camaro, although it wasn't the Camaro. You could tell it was probably built on a Camaro chassis, maybe, but who knows? The pictures are very vague. It's still a new article that came out, but it's being released for 2018. So how they kept it quiet for this long, I don't know. It's coming out later this year. I'm excited about it. It's going to cost about $30,000, they said, which is crazy, but hey, who didn't love the Chevelle? You know I was a Chevelle fan. I'm a Chevy, and Chevy and Mopar for me, it has gotten it. Fords, I drive Fords. on my personal vehicle, but that's my around town, I had a Ford Explorer, Mercury Mountaineer. I have a Ford Escape, so I even have a Ford Escort. As far as everyday, mom and pop vehicles, I like Fords, but Chevy, man, with the muscle, muscle cars from back in the day, Mopar and Chevy got it for me. So I was really excited to hear that Chevy was going to drop for 2018, nonetheless, a Chevelle. So that remains to be seen. So, guys, tune into the Cycleshack. This is just a quick little Facebook Live segment of the show. Quick 10, 15 minutes to just basically discuss what's going to be on the show. So that's it, man. Once I get off the air here, I'm going to set up here to go on and record the audio for Anchor.fm. We're on Anchor.fm. We're on, well, I'm on a lot of platforms now, by the way, and I'm on about 6 different platforms, and that's all to thankfully to Anchor.fm. If you guys haven't downloaded it, I don't know what you're waiting for. If you have an iPhone, just go to the App Store, type in Anchor.fm. It's quick, it's easy. It even gives you the opportunity to put out your own podcast, man. Even if you're driving from your phone, you can just click record and just say what you want to say. Hit enter, stream it, and it goes out to the world. No biggie. Start your own podcast. And with that, it grows. They got me back on. And you know what's funny? You know what's great about it? It was at no charge. I have no overhead when it comes to the podcast other than equipment that you see here that I'm getting to create it. But for the most part, as far as storage for the podcast, I mean, Anchor.fm is taking care of it all. All I did was sign up, download the app, and away it goes, man. They put me on 5 or 6 different platforms. iTunes being one of them. That's how I got back on iTunes. The show went off iTunes for a little while because I just couldn't keep up with it. And it wasn't an iTunes thing. It was my other host platform that I had that just wasn't cutting it for me. And Anchor.fm got it going. So aside from Anchor.fm, I'm on Pocket Casts. I'm on iTunes, Google Play Music. You know what? I'll research it and for another topic, man, on the Cycleshack Live. So, hey, I'm already on 17 minutes. So I did pretty much a whole show of yapping here, which is cool, man. So tune in, guys. Thanks a lot. And I appreciate you listening to the show. And we'll be back soon. Thank you for joining me. We're out of here. It's the Cycleshack. Give me some comments, please. Cycleshackpodcast@gmail.com or right here on @the Cycleshack Podcast on Facebook. We'll see you soon, guys. Thank you.